The Russian-Ukraine conflict is the first war in the age of cryptocurrencies, and never before the promise of transparency, accessibility, and security that digital currencies offer has been more important as people try to protect their money. Let's chat more about the role decentralized finance is playing in the conflict with Kelvin Lam, CEO of Lithium Finance. Welcome to the DeFi Download, Kelvin.
It's good to see you, Angie.
It's good to see you too. I mean, it's just about every big crypto coin that we're talking about, from Bitcoin to ETH, Avalanche to Polkadot. It's seen a sharp rebound since the conflict in Europe started. What is the main reason here?
Well, it has certainly been volatile. I think at the beginning of the conflict, we've seen increased trading volumes in Ukraine as people rush to convert their assets into cryptocurrencies. Basically just to get around with restrictions and challenges and getting their money with that. I think we had also been seeing speculative trades betting similar spikes will happen in Russia as people demand for crypto would increase given sanctions come into play. That anticipation, however, seemed to not have materialized to sustain. So as we speak, we are seeing crypto markets coming back down a bit to be more in line with the overall risk assets.
And it really is that risk even in Russia. For the Russian people, they're finding themselves cut off from the global financial system. Russia as a country as a whole is certainly exposed to that. The Russian currency has plunged in value even as Putin has put capital controls in place. Do you think this upward trajectory of crypto assets would continue as the conflict drags on?
It's important to remember we have a few things going on at the moment. Obviously, we have the conflict in Eastern Europe. We also have the seemingly never-ending COVID situation in the middle of a rising interest rate environment. With all that, I am still quite hopeful for a continuing upward trajectory, as you mentioned, in the medium term and hopefully well into the longer term. But that's not going to be because of a prolonged conflict and certainly not because of tapering. It's always, I think, fundamentally going to be driven by mainstream adoption and expanding utility. What's interesting, I think, is that with the current conflict, we have been seeing headlines in mainstream media about crypto almost every day, which puts crypto into new perspective for the general public. Ukraine has been accepting donations and deploying funds and digital assets. People are wondering about sanction non-compliance, and many have just realized the practical use cases and reliability of the blockchains.
There's certainly debate raging right now, concerns that cryptocurrencies could be used to bypass the sanctions that US and allies have imposed. Given the DeFi protocols in place, could Russian oligarchs, for example, use DeFi to protect their assets, realistically speaking?
There has been a lot of debates in that area. I personally feel that is not a practical solution for them, primarily because all the transactions on blockchains are fully transparent and traceable. For example, if a sanctioned person has any offshore interest or repayment obligation, it would be very unlikely for any agent to facilitate that on behalf of that sanctioned person through blockchains without getting tracked back to himself. So although the blockchain will be open, it's a viable channel, it's going to be very, very hard for any large movements to go undetected. As for the ordinary Russians, however, who are not subject to sanctions, I think crypto could actually become more useful for them. It will be possible for them to use crypto to get around the inconvenience, if you will, resulting from sanctions placed on their bank, but not themselves. So again, I think it's going to be helping a lot of these mainstream users to realize the benefit of crypto in legal and compliant ways.
It is a new age indeed for cryptocurrency, and certainly applications of it in real time. Thank you so much, Kelvin, for bringing some insights into the DeFi Download today.